What's up, guys? Koma here. And today, or yesterday, I guess you can say, um, Destiny 2's episode Revenant has kind of come to a close. And I wanted to talk about it for a moment because, um, as much as Destiny has been, knee deep into the shit. I don't think Destiny has been this deep into knee deep into the shit. Um, so with this video, there will be spoilers just as ahead because I want to talk about the story because this story isn't great. I initially wrote off Season of the Revenant just like I did Echoes, as this was the beginning of something greater going forward. Now there are a few plot points that are still interesting, especially the plot points that occur within Europa and mainly upon Vesper Station during Vesper's host, which gives us a glimpse into what is beyond um basically our solar system, which is cool. It's great. But the thing is, it's not key into the whole seasonal story. Um, but the main problem is that most of the story that happened this season ended before you could even start. So, again, spoilers. With the new Kel's fall, I expected it to be Mithrax who falls because he is the Kel of Kells as of this time. But of course, you're entering Fickrell's fortress, which basically leads to you evidently discovering an ancient apothecary that helps Ido make a tonic to eventually be able to change the aether that the fanatic can actually control, or sorry, ether that the fanatic controls from dark instead turns it into light aether and then evidently just straight up kills him. Now, because of the story plot points between Aramis and also Mithrax, Aramis and Mithrax then fight over the echo that Fickrell drops. Evidently, Aramis is selected by said echo. Um, so she's selected, she takes hold of it, and evidently just cleanses Mithrax of his entire issue, which was the influence of Nezarec. If anybody has been following during the season, we know that, not only this season, but the seasons before that, Mithrax has been not necessarily sick, but he's been slowly being consumed by the influence of Nezarec, who is basically an unending nightmare. There is quite literally no way to even rid him from anybody's head. He's always there. He's even in our heads potentially. Um, so the fact just to watch him just get cleansed like it's nothing doesn't make sense. Um, Additionally, the echo that Aramis does hold is also taken back to the fallen homeworld, meaning that this echo that we see, her hold and, cleanse Mithrax with is now pretty much gone. Mithrax actually does not change color here, but within the cutscene, his like RGB goes back to its original pink color. And unfortunately, despite the story implications that Aramis fled Soul and went back to the Fallen Homeworld, if you do go wander all the way back here, I also still have this waypoint. Don't know what it does. Aramis is still here, and if you interact with her, she still does her Act 1 dialogue, so it feels like nothing ever changed. But my biggest complaint about this story is why? Why would you bring Fickrell and the Echo into the story if you're just going to basically introduce something just to rip it away. Because initially we expected Mithrax with Nezarec to evidently bring Nezarec back into the fold somehow. And because of story implications, it's hinted that Nezarec is not necessarily, on our side, but he's not also on the side of darkness, as he is just a god of fear. He is not necessarily, darkness incarnate. That would technically be the winnower. So, ooh, okay, I don't know what my game is doing there. Within that case, you start to really think about, where is this going? So now that the echo that Fickrel had is now gone, it's left Soul with Aramis. We don't know if we'll ever see it return. So that's an entire giant plot device gone. Additionally, Fickrel is now dead. He cannot return. This basically means that the Scorn's position and the Scorn's existence is now up in the air. Potentially, I would assume that any darkness related enemy can control them, obviously. But my biggest question is who? Of course, we have the winnower, but we haven't really seen, heard from the winnower, um, like at all. We've gotten messages from the winnower, but that's it. Now, the only other thing that I can really think of that could potentially control the Scorn is actually whatever the quote eldritch enemy is from the next episode, which could potentially also control the Scorn. But I would assume, as that season is mostly Hive, it's going to be some Hive presence, unlike uh, anything else that we've technically seen so far. So it kind of sucks because the gun that we actually got from the mission is actually really nice. I actually don't mind this shotgun at all. I'm sorry, PvP players who actually have to deal with this gun now, because it is a menace, I would expect. Um, but I just don't understand where their mindset was with the story. I'm not too happy about it. I don't know how they even. Yep, there it is. Complete quest for all acts of episode Revenant. And I don't think there is at all going to be a finale. I don't think even episode Echoes had a finale. So if there is a finale, it's going to be an episode Heretic, which will be the next episode. But unfortunately, it's to the point to where I can't say I'm surprised, because this story just feels completely just dropped. There's no build up. There was practically nothing that made the story stand out, as it basically never even started. Because when we initially first captured Aramis, I assumed, oh, Aramis is on her redemption arc, meaning that Aramis would evidently swap sides and either help us in the long run for whatever comes next. Fickrel becomes another looming threat alongside Maya Sundaresh, as well as Mithrax now having Nezarec's influence also being potentially a threat. But to have every single plot point now eradicated and an echo thrown out the window just is feels rushed, and it feels like an event just to cut everything away, to like basically minimize everything as well, meaning that the only threat currently are the Hive and the Vex. The Fallen aren't much of a threat anymore, besides just the random houses that are running around Seoul, if they haven't already gone back to the Fallen homeworld. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not too happy with this ending. I do think that, potentially whatever's going on with Vesper's host and the giant portal uh is definitely interesting. I just really need to, I guess, let it sink in and see what Bife has to say about it, because obviously I might have missed a few key points about the story, but if Bife has something, more knowledgeable, then potentially it could be something else I'm missing. So, um, yeah, that's all I wanted to rant about the story.